Hey, it's Russ from right here on the Infectious Groove YouTube channel, and we are continuing our series, What's So Great About? The series where we talk about reasons why we love an artist or a song even, or an album. And we have covered this artist a great deal on the channel between all sorts of different corners of his music, to the upcoming biopic, to reaction videos. And so obviously I thought it was important that we do a video about what's so great about Michael Jackson. These are things that I think make him great, make him into what he became as far as his impact on the world, being the king of pop. First of all, the guy had an incredible charisma from such a young age. When you look at, Michael Jackson in his 20s or 30s, it's easy to say, oh, well, yeah, he grew up in the industry. Of course he can do that, or, he grew up around Motown. He got to sit and watch Stevie Wonder do what he does. Of course he's that good with music. But if you watch even home video footage of this guy at 5 years old, or watch him, on the Diana Ross show, or, any early performance. And I say this with no disrespect to the other Jackson brothers on stage. I mean, there's a huge difference in charisma and stage presence between, what Michael's doing and what everyone else is doing on stage at an early age. It was a natural thing that this guy had, that he was born with, and then went on from there to craft it into something nobody else was able to even come close to touching. Another thing that I think makes him so great is he would set goals for himself, learn how to meet them, and then exceed them. I mean, I'm sure a bunch of artists sit out and go, I'm going to make the largest selling record of all time. But how many people actually come up with a plan and then do it, and then tell the media ahead of time, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to set out to make the largest selling record of all time, with many, many obstacles in his way. This is a guy who was told by Rolling Stone prior to Thriller coming out that black faces don't sell magazines. I would argue that he was able to prove that wrong tenfold if you look at the entirety of the rest of the 1980s after Thriller was released. So the guy was able to set goals. And for me at a young age, that was really something to look up to, beside the music, and go, wow, this is a guy who knows how to set a goal and then go get what he wanted and exceed the goal. Another thing, he had help in writing some songs, like Man in the Mirror, I think is probably the most famous song that he's known for, that he didn't have a hand in writing, like with Saida Garrett bringing that one to us. But the guy wrote or had a hand in writing inarguably some of the greatest pop songs ever in the history of music. I mean, that's an indisputable fact. You can actually not be a fan of Michael Jackson's music, and you kind of still have to agree that, Black or White, Billie Jean, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, Remember the Time, Will You Be There? I mean, it's the list goes on and on and on. I could literally sit here and list, I don't know, 50 songs off the top of my head that this guy wrote or had a hand in writing, that could be any one of them could be in the discussion for, this is some of the greatest music ever written, whether it's R&B or soul or straight pop music. He's got some rock tracks that are incredible. Again, that has to do with, how he grew up in what his goals were for himself, but he did it. And it's an incredible discussion to be in. I'm not going to touch too much on this next thing, but I want to say that, one thing I find inspirational about him is that he persevered through the worst things imaginable. In my opinion, you have a guy who, in my opinion, the things that he was accused of while he was alive, and unfortunately, by extortion attempts, even since he's passed, he was accused of being the worst thing I think you can accuse a human being of being. And not only did he just keep smiling through it, and doing his best to get through that whole thing, he kept putting out great music, talking about it in his music, keeping his message up, which is a point I'm going to talk on in a minute. But for me, that's a lesson that I take away from that guy of, yes, it's terrible what happened to him and what he had to deal with while he was here, but there's also a lesson to learn in that, which I think makes him great, in that we go, okay, well, I've never been accused of that, and I hope I never am, and I hope I never have to deal with anything like that. But anything up to and including that, I've got this example to follow of how to just keep on keeping on, which is much easier said than done, but we have an example of someone who did that. The last thing I want to talk about that makes him great is his legacy since he did pass. we throw this phrase around a lot these days of broke the internet. Michael Jackson passing away literally broke the internet. Michael Jackson fans can drop comments and give a more accurate list, but this is like Google literally went down from everybody trying to Google and find out if the news about him was true. And I would argue, outside of the one ridiculous film that HBO put out, which has been proven a ridiculous amount of times over false. Other than that, his legacy has only grown. And if you look at the worldwide fandom of Michael Jackson, they follow his example in the things that you have to put up with, but you still keep moving forward. The music is everywhere. Everywhere you go out today, you're going to hear one of his songs somewhere in public. No matter if it was the Jacksons, Jackson 5, MJ Solo, you're going to hear a Michael Jackson song out in public today, most likely. The Heal the World Foundation and everything that the Heal the World messaging stood for, what his son Prince is out doing every day with the Heal the World, Heal LA Foundation, those things are moving on. And I think all of that adds up to what makes Michael Jackson great. It's a lot more than just pop songs, and it's a lot more than just charisma. It's about leaving an impact. And I, as much as anybody else, wish that the guy was still here. But when he's not, though, what you did in your life and the lasting impact, I think, says a lot. And the lasting impact that he's had, I think is going to really stand the test of time. And certainly once we get done with, once we run out of people trying to make money off of his name. So those are just some things that I thought I would share of what I think makes Michael Jackson great. If you would, please drop a comment on the video. Let me know what you think of my points and what are some of your points that you think Michael Jackson, would make Michael Jackson great. If you would, please share this video out into, I'm sure there's plenty of Michael Jackson social media groups and stuff, because that helps the channel grow. Drop a like on the video on your way out. And as we always say, thank you so much for watching.